Hi friends, welcome back. I'm Mrs. Gradney and today we'll be solving division problems where there's a remainder in the tens. Here's what you'll need for our lesson today. Let's get started. Let's start with what we already know. Read the expression. 3 divided by 2. Now, pause the video and model 3 divided by 2 on your place value chart, then come back and check your work. So what is 3 divided by 2? The quotient, or the size of each group in this case, is 1, 1, and we have 1, 1 remaining. Now let's solve 3 divided by 2 using long division. First, let's set up our long division. 3 divided by 2. We had 3 ones to share equally with 2 groups. How many ones were in each group? 1 1 was in each group, so we can record 1 1 in the quotient. So we shared 1 1 with each of 2 groups. How many ones did we share altogether? We shared 2 ones. So we had 3 ones to share, and we shared 2 of them. How many ones do we have left? We have 1 1 left. So this one is our remainder, and this one is our quotient. Nice work. Let's solve a similar expression now. Read the expression. 30 divided by 2. Using mental math, what is 30 divided by 2? Did you say 15? Let's confirm that 30 divided by 2 is 15 using the place value chart. Say 30 in unit form. 3 tens. So let's draw 3 tens on our place value chart. Now, how many groups are we dividing 3 tens into? 2 groups. So let's make space for 2 groups below. Here's 1 group and 2 groups. So we have 3 tens to divide equally between 2 groups. Let's distribute the tens and cross off what we use. So 1 10 for that group and 1 10 for that group. Now we've given 1 10 to each group and we have 1 10 remaining. Do we have enough tens to distribute another 10 to each group? No, we don't. So we have 1 10 remaining. But wait, what can we do with that 10 so that we can continue dividing? Pause the video to talk out your thinking. Did you say we can decompose that 10 to make 10 ones? If we decompose that 10 into 10 ones, then we can keep dividing. So let's do that. Now we have 10 ones to divide equally between 2 groups. Pause the video and distribute the ones and cross off what you use, and then write the quotient out to the side of one of the groups like we did here. And then come back and we'll check. So what's the quotient? We can see in our place value chart that the size of each group is 1 10, 5 ones, or 15. So the quotient is 15. That's what we thought it would be. Is there any remainder? Nope, there is no remainder. Now let's compare our 2 problems. In the first problem, when we got a remainder of 1 1, we stopped dividing. But in the second problem, when we got a remainder of 1 10, we didn't stop dividing. Why is that? Pause the video to reflect and talk out your thinking. In the first problem, when we got a remainder of 1 1, ones are the smallest unit on our place value chart. So we just stopped there and made the 1 1 our remainder. But in the second problem, when we got 1 10 as a remainder, we know that 1 10 can be decomposed into 10 ones, which can then still be distributed. So it's important to think about the units and what they represent when we're dividing. Now let's solve 30 divided by 2 using long division. First, let's set up our problem. 30 divided by 2. Notice I slid this loose leaf paper in my personal whiteboard, like you did in a previous lesson, to help me keep track of the place values. You don't have to do this, but you can do it if it's helpful for you. Now, 3 tens divided by 2 is what? 1 10. So we can record 1 10, a 1 in the tens place, in our quotient. Now, we recorded 1 10 twice. Say a multiplication sentence that tells how many tens we recorded altogether. 1 10 times 2 equals 2 tens. Now, we had 3 tens to distribute. We distributed 2 of them, and we had 1 10 remaining. Say a subtraction sentence that tells us that. 3 tens minus 2 tens equals 1 10. Now, to continue dividing, we decompose that 1 10 into 10 ones. How many ones did we have to distribute? We had 10 ones to distribute. So we had 10 ones to distribute equally between these 2 groups. How many ones were in each group? 5 ones were in each group. Say a division sentence that tells us that. 10 ones divided by 2 equals 5 ones. So we can record 5 ones in the quotient. Notice that's in the ones place. We recorded 5 ones twice. Say a multiplication sentence that tells how many ones we recorded altogether. 5 ones times 2 equals 10 ones. So we had 10 ones to distribute, we distributed 10 ones, and we have no ones remaining. Say a subtraction sentence that tells us that. 10 ones minus 10 ones equals 0 ones. So our quotient is 15, just like we got in the place value chart. Now let's compare the work we did in the long division and in our place value chart. How does the work match? Pause the video to explain what you're thinking. Maybe you said that in both ways that we showed the division, we can see a total of 30. Here's our total of 30 in the long division, and here's our total of 30 in our place value chart. Both ways also show 2 groups of 15. In the place value chart, I can see 2 groups of 15 here. And in the long division, I can see 2 groups of 15 here. That means we can check our division using multiplication. So let's do that. 15 times 2. And since we get a product of 30, which matches the total that we started with, we know our division is correct. Let's try another problem now. Now, I'm not going to use the lined paper anymore to help me line up the place values, but you can still use it if you find it helpful. Let's read this expression together. 42 divided by 3. Say 42 in unit form. 4 tens, 2 ones. And how many groups are we dividing 42 into? 3 groups. So pause the video here, represent 42 on your place value chart, and make space for 3 groups below. And also set up the problem to get ready for long division. Then come back and we'll continue working the problem together. Okay, now let's continue solving. We have 4 tens to divide equally with 3 groups. Let's distribute the tens and cross off what we use. How many tens are in each group? 1 10. And how many tens remain? 1 10. Now let's show what we just did in our long division. 4 tens divided by 3 groups. How many tens are in each group? 1 10. So we can record 1 10 in the quotient. We shared 1 10 with each of 3 groups. Say a multiplication sentence that tells how many tens we shared altogether. 110 times 3 equals 3 tens. We had 4 tens to share, and we shared 3 of them, and we had 1 10 remaining. Say a subtraction sentence that tells what we did. 4 tens minus 3 tens equals 1 10. Now, should we stop dividing and say that our quotient is 110 and our remainder is 110? Why or why not? Pause the video to explain what you're thinking. No, we shouldn't stop dividing because we can rename this 110 as 10 ones and then continue dividing. So let's show that with our discs. Now, how many ones do we have to distribute? We have 12 ones to distribute, 2 ones from the original whole, and then these 10 ones that we renamed from the leftover 10. To show that in our long division, we had 1 10 remaining, and to continue dividing, we renamed this 110 as 10 ones, and then together with the 2 ones from the original whole, that gives us 12 ones to distribute. So we have 12 ones to distribute with 3 groups. These 12 ones to distribute with 3 groups. Pause the video and finish dividing in both the place value chart and in our long division, and then come back and you can check your work. So what's our quotient? 110 4 ones, or 14. Was there any remainder? Nope, we used all of the ones, so there was no remainder. Now, how does the work we did in the place value chart match the work we did in the long division? Pause the video to explain what you're thinking. You may have noticed that in both the place value chart and in the long division, we started dividing with the largest units, the tens, and then we continued dividing with the smaller units. You may also notice that in both ways, we can see 3 groups of 14. 1, 2, 3 groups of 14 here, and 3 groups of 14 here, which means we can check our division using multiplication. So let's do that. And since we get a product of 42, and that's the whole that we started with, we know our division is correct. Now here in the place value chart, I can clearly see how we decompose the 1 remaining 10 as 10 ones, and then put it with the 2 ones from the original whole and got 12 ones that needed to be distributed. Where can we see that same thinking in our long division? In our long division, after we distributed the tens, we had 1 10 remaining, which is this 10 here. In order to continue dividing, we had to rename this 110 as 10 ones, and then when we put it together with these 2 ones from the original whole, we got 12 ones that needed to be distributed. So they're the same. Let's try another problem. Read the expression, 84 divided by 3. Pause the video and solve 84 divided by 3 using the place value chart and long division, and check your work using multiplication. Then come on back and we'll discuss it. Welcome back. Check your work with mine. If you didn't find the quotient was 28, be sure to pause the video here and see if you can find your mistake. Now, what was different this time about our work in the place value chart? This time we had to decompose 2 tens. That was a lot more discs to draw, huh? After we decomposed those 2 tens, how many ones did we have to distribute? We had 24 ones to distribute. Where can we see those 24 ones in the long division? We can see the 24 ones here, and they come from the 2 tens that we had remaining after we distributed the tens, and then we put the 4 ones that we still had from the original whole with it, and we get 24 ones that needed to be distributed. Nice work. Excellent job today, friends. I think we're ready for the problem set. On the screen are the must-do problems for the problem set. Set a timer or watch the clock for 10 minutes and work on these problems. If you finish early, Feel free to try any of the other problems on the problem set as well. Today, we represented and solved division problems when there was a remainder in the tens. Remember to check in with your teacher, and I'll see you next time for another Eureka Math lesson. Bye!